you listed out all the reasons, why the middle class is shrinking. It'll continue to do so. You said household incomes in the middle class can't keep up with those in the upper income. We talked about interest rates.
Yeah.
You said the middle class has the majority of their net worth tied up in the equity of their home, but that's kind of been the case. Usually most families' biggest investment is the home they live in. That's been historically the case.
Yeah. Or cash, or a retirement account, or some combination.
Yeah.
All of which have scammed the American people.
There's inflation, of course, we talked about that. There's taxes. And
which the middle class pays all the taxes in this country.
Correct. The dollar is getting devalued. We've seen that.
Y'all pay attention.
Well, the dollar didn't get devalued. What it buys.
Well, yeah, which is
it buys is because the $100 bill still says 100 on it. See, this is the big scam right here. Okay, the big scam is this $100. When were you born? What year?
What was that?
What year were you born?
73.
So in 1973, this said 100 on it.
Yeah.
It says 1973 down here, right?
Yeah.
Full faith in the U.S. government and God we trust. It says the same bullshit. If this was a 1973 bill, okay, printed in the year you were born, what would it say on it today?
100. Oh, it'd be way less.
No, but what would it say on it? It would still say, right here, it would say what?
$100.
Exactly. It should say 11.
Right. Because it's worth 10% of what it used to be.
That's where the scam took place, right there.
Right. Now, you said interest rates paid on checking and savings account
because if it said 11, if they had to change the value of it every time, you wouldn't keep cash.
Well, I mean, certain countries have to do that. They have to take a zero away from their currency and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
It happens. Now, you said interest rates paid on checking and savings accounts have been the lowest level for decades, with today's average still being at 0.1%.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Grant Cardone, and I thought this might be interesting to touch on. Grant Cardone says he doesn't have an emergency savings, and we have to be careful with. Grant Cardone is an amazing businessman, especially when it comes to real estate. He's a salesman. I'm a former salesman, so a lot of stuff I could have picked out to see what he's doing. And a lot of salesmen, their goal is to try to convince you, the consumer, the everyday people, on why you should maybe buy a certain product or change what you were doing to maybe help go into a different avenue that they're already in to spend money on. He has his big 10X conference. He makes a tremendous amount of money from every single year. That's also helping fuel his real estate business. The thing that I don't like about Grant is he talks about how if you own a house, that's the worst investment you can have. But he owns hundreds of thousands of units, right? Well, the banks own them, I guess, but he's on title for hundreds of thousands of dollars for apartment buildings that he then rents out to everyday people like you. But he's telling you that owning a home is a bad investment and that you shouldn't. You should rent forever to a guy that makes money off of people that rent. See, we got to see where the correlation is with this, but let's keep going.
That is true. But now, because of the high interest rates, you have savings accounts like Apple where you can get like 4.5%.
Yeah.
I have some of my money in there myself.
Average checking account or savings account in America paid to the average middle class family in America is 0.1% today.
Right, and that's true. But
So
I'm saying that you have the option to put your money into a high interest.
The fact
anyone could do it. Anyone can get an Apple savings account.
Okay, for what? They got fucking $12 they earn 4% on. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe you're defending his position. You sound like an elitist, Vlad. What happened to you, bro? I thought you were for the people. I'm supposed to be the elitist. I'm supposed to be the guy that doesn't understand. So if a guy has, let's say his average savings account has $800 in it and he earns 4% on fucking Apple.
Listen, $800 is not going to help you in any situation. You can't make $800 turning into anything significant in any business.
Let's talk about averages. The average American in America today is paid 0.1%. 0.1, not 1%. 0.1% interest rate annually.
Because they're keeping the money.
But if they can get a mortgage, it's going to be 7, 8, or 9 if they qualify.
Correct.
Okay, they can't get a business loan today.
Right.
They can cross their fingers and hope that Biden forgives them for their college debt if they were stupid enough to go to college.
I went to college. It's helped me out eventually.
And you got to think, man, he's a great entertainer, but I have to disagree. And again, Y'all take it how y'all want it. I don't have nowhere near a fraction, less than 1% of the wealth Grant Cardone has. But for the average everyday American people, and he's talking about regular banks, you can get a high yield savings account, which will give you a 3 to 4% interest on your money. And obviously that's nothing crazy, but I've always told people I'm never really liquid. I believe on just having enough money in your savings account for emergency, 6 months, emergency fund, everything else. You should not be stacking or sitting on a bunch of cash. Me personally, you shouldn't. Money should always be working for you. Put it into the market, 10, 12, 15% returns depending on the year, and allow your money to keep growing and compound interest in over time. Or if you're stacking cash, it's because you need to make a big down payment for a real estate purchase. But other than that, yeah, I will half and half agree and disagree with what he's saying. You should never be sitting on just tons of piles of cash. Money should always be working for you.
You said for the last 15 minutes proves that a college degree is not
I have a computer science degree from UC
But
Berkeley.
you're not using it.
Oh, we got ads here. So we're going to have to edit that.
I'm using it every day in my business.
How?
Because Vlad TV is as much of a tech company as it is
Okay, you're talking
a content company.
Okay,
The back end cost me $1 million to put together.
Go ahead.
What we could do with a small staff is what a big company could do.
But you could do that today with AI and not ever have to go to college.
Listen, you
You
can
agree
and
with
you
that?
can't. You can and you can't. I mean, it's conceptually an interesting idea, but you still need programmers and you still need technical expertise.
When's the last time you programmed anything?
Oh, I don't program anything, but I have a programmer that I work with every day.
Right.
I haven't coded in decades, but what I'm saying is I know how to architect software.
Okay. Hey, I went to college, man.
Yeah.
I went to college. I got an accounting degree.
Depends on your major. Certain majors are more useful than others.
Nobody's ever asked me whether I graduated or not.
Well, when's the last time you applied for a job?
Well, more importantly, when's the last time I applied for some debt? $2 billion worth of debt. Nobody's ever asked me. No bank's ever asked me.
College degree has nothing to do with a loan.
So what? Well, you just told me what? I don't need to get rich in America. I do not need a college degree. They're not going to even ask me. Facebook and Google all came out and said you do not need a college degree to work here anymore.
Okay, doesn't hurt. It usually helps.
Okay.
People with a college degree
It helps people
make over $1 million more on average than
It
someone
helps
without a
put
college
people
degree.
in debt, Vlad.
Agree to disagree. Depends on the college. Nobody that goes to Harvard or Yale or Princeton complains about their college debt.
Yeah,
not Stanford, Berkeley. Nobody
What
complains
happened
about
to
their
you, bro? What?
Nobody complains about their college
Oh my
debt.
God, man.
Okay, now if you go
I remember when you and I-
Heald community, if you go to Heald College.
Yeah, man. So it's just all about how you look at it. Everybody has their own path when it comes to school, no school. I've always been an advocate of if you're going to go to school and you don't have an academic scholarship or athletic scholarship, you got to go to community college, man. Don't take on all that debt. Don't get a basket weaving degree. Get something that's actually going to help you make a lot of money. If you're going to school to be a teacher, don't take on $100,000 worth of student loan debt if you know the average teacher makes $50,000, $60,000 a year. It's just simple. It's simple. Grant Cardone is filthy rich. Don't let him fool you. Grant Cardone has a corporation. They pay him a reasonable salary. He then is able to take distributions as taxed at a lower tax rate. Cardone has money. He's liquid. Sometimes it gets to a point where you have to be liquid. You know, it's only but so much you can keep reinvesting versus the average everyday person like me and you. Yeah, man. Once you get that 6 months emergency fund, you could put 10, 20, 100,000, $500,000 if God's willing in your specific situation in the market every single year, or real estate, whatever the case may be. But when you're touching hundreds of millions of dollars like him, it's like, okay, you're not going to tell me, Grant, that you don't got $10 million of liquid cash somewhere in a checking account. You ain't going to tell me you got $30 million somewhere in a checking account. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Grant Cardone, man. I know this is a small clip. For the guys that don't know him, do a little bit more research on him. You know, smart guy. There's stuff you can learn. And y'all let me know, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.